Hey guys, welcome to my channel, my first video. Pretty crazy that I'm doing this. Never would have thought that I'll be posting on YouTube. Never was a huge social media guy before, but I felt the need to do so. Obviously, we all felt the craziness the last couple of years, the changes, and a big part of me shifting into opening up online is these last couple crazy years and the changes that they caused. So a little bit about me. Um, I'm Eastern European. Was born in Budapest, Hungary. Grew up in Transylvania, Romania. So I'm a bilingual guy. I grew up speaking both languages in school, friends, and family. Um, you know, life wasn't easy growing up in the 90s. Just first generation, not communist, and still the switch between the systems, and breadlines weren't a thing anymore. But my parents grew up like that, and people that are close to my age, that are just a bit older, have told me stories that they remember it. So yeah, pretty close to it. Life wasn't easy. It didn't look like there's much improvement coming anytime soon. Anyhow, as years went on, during my early teenage years, my father, who's been in Canada since 94, 95, has asked me if I would like to go visit or move there. And I said I would love to visit, probably even move there for obvious reasons. You know, we all seen Hollywood movies, North America, better life, better future. So I decided to visit, and I did. And the following year, in 2005, it was. I have decided to officially move to Canada for this reason. Now, huge difference, huge upgrade in many ways. Bigger, cleaner, just more. People are more polite. You know, it's a new country. It's a way bigger and richer country. Haven't been through wars. Um, you know, so the multicultural aspect, everybody looking different than me, was super cool in the beginning. I found it intriguing and very motivating for me to meet people and make friends. You know, small town guy, always Romanian, Hungarian mainly, friends and same kind of mentality. And now all of a sudden you have all these different kind of people. So like, oh, it's awesome. Until I started school and I realized it's actually not as good as I thought. Why I say that? It was really hard to make meaningful relationships, even with my own kind, meaning from part of the world where I grew up in. It's not the same once you leave, you know? It was really hard to make any kind of connections, ties, friendships. And anyhow, it wasn't at all what I expected it to be. It took me a good year and a half to 2 years to be semi-fluent in English before I started making my first friends, and then those kind of fell off the map, and I kind of moved around too with my dad's job and stuff. So made some new ones, some Romanian, Hungarian, some other cultures. You know, doesn't matter. But what matters is none of them stuck. I don't speak to any one of those guys, and I lived in Canada for 21 years. Anyhow, yeah. You could say partially is my fault, but I have people from my own country that if I go on after 21 years and knock on their door, they would sit me down and ask me if I want to eat something and how I've been. Like I just left last week or last month. You know, I don't have that in Canada, and I lived in Canada more than in Europe. So just to put things in perspective, culturally as well as just how people are, are thinking. Um, so yeah, so done some schooling and moved around Toronto, then Vancouver, and spent the last 17 years in Vancouver, and where I was hustling hard, months and I'm working a job and learning the craft, you know, exterior renovations and construction, until I opened my own little thing and then started doing those small contracts, hustling, 6-day weeks, 14, 16-hour shifts. You guys know what I'm talking about probably if you're watching this. And you just never seen the end of the light. at the tunnel. I was like, okay, I work more and more hours and pay more and more taxes, and I'm just in the same spot. I'm just getting more tired. So I was kind of disappointed. Growing up is something. It was something else that I thought that it's gonna life's gonna be like, and then I started doubting my decision. And it was too late. I was already like 14, 16 years in when I had this company in Canada. So the last couple of years was just grind, and I've got a job on the Vancouver Island in Victoria, more specifically, to any Canadian followers that will see this, viewers. And I've met somebody special. Now, before I continue, like I said, I was working really hard and I got really exhausted, and it didn't meet my expectations. I cannot say bad things about Canada as a whole, but there's no such thing as a perfect place, right? So, yeah, it just wasn't working for me anymore, and just things were getting more expensive, and you couldn't really charge more on the customer. It was hard, so you had to soak up that difference in a way, and the taxes were increasing, and they still are, apparently, from what I'm being told currently. And so I was kind of done, and I was trying to figure my escape. I was thinking I speak 5 languages: Portuguese, Spanish, English, Hungarian, Romanian, whatever. But the three main ones that I can go places, probably just grind a little more, save up, and just extend the decay that I was feeling from the West into another, by moving to another place, and stretch the dollar a bit further, if you know what I mean. And then, so the last few miles, so to speak, I thought that I'm done. I met this girl that it was different. We connected from the first moment, and things felt right. She was only visiting though, so of course there's always something negative, or there's always have to be something like like something blocking you from what you want to achieve or to do. So in this case, it was her just visiting her family from Brazil, that they've been living in Canada for 5 years, and she does a yearly visit for a couple of weeks, and we've met. Everything clicked instantly, and we started hanging out for the whole month as she was here, and I took some time off work, and we, I guess you could say, fell in love. We clicked. I don't know. It's weird because it wasn't something that usually just felt natural, normal, and nothing crazy. But in the same time, it was everything that I didn't know I wanted in a woman. So fast forward a couple of weeks, and we find out she's pregnant. So I said, "Well, damn. This two things. This happened quick, out of nowhere, and my plan of leaving actually solidified right now. I have a true reason to pack up and go." And so I did, and I'm here, and that's how I got to Brazil. So yeah, lots and lots of changes in the last couple, even months. Like this, all of this happened this year, really. So leading up to this year, it was really just about the grind and about the escape route, and this year just kind of like watch out what you wish for, because it just came out of nowhere as a storm, and just literally I gave up my rent. I cut most ties with Canada. I have family there still, of course, but other than that, I closed all the accounts basically, and left and came here to do the daddy duties. And so yeah, you can tell there has been a lot that has changed in my life, and past that, since 2020, was like building up inside of me. So I felt the need to talk about things and to create this channel, just to shed light and to see past the BS that we're being fed constantly through the media and social platforms. I think the future of social platforms are these one-to-one kind of conversational platforms, podcasts. Not many people really watch, especially our new age people, newer generation people don't really watch news anymore. They don't really believe in that, right? And rightfully so. I mean, really, like, how many things have we found out lately that we were told that they're not true, and we will in the near and far future as well. So yeah, here I am now, talking to you, whoever you are there on the other side of this screen. And so this channel is gonna be basically about beyond cutting through the BS. Is about just reflecting, talking about relationships, potentially some traveling. Well, I will try and stay away, clear away from heavy politics, blue pill, red pill, all this stuff. We will probably touch on those as well. I will, because that's just a big part of life. And coming from a very modernized Western society into a place like Brazil, it's a huge difference. And my journey started in Eastern Europe, which is a different place again. However, systematically is more similar than Brazil, to Brazil. I'm sorry, but yeah, there's lots to talk about, lots to share, lots of stories, and beyond that, I would like to help you guys and you potentially reach back on and help me build clarity on a lot of subjects in this crazy, noisy world. Yeah, what else can I say? I don't want to drag this on either. It's my first video, like I said. I'm not gonna heavily edit this. I'm not gonna cut it through. I'm just gonna put it out there and see what clicks, who can connect with this story with me, and who can see value in me sharing this and potentially sharing their own, you know. I encourage anybody who wants to comment or like or subscribe to do so. There will be much more. I will try my best to post and make it meaningful, you know, based on a lot of my own experiences. We'll do a lot of video commenting on the modernized world, so to speak, and differences in cultures and yeah. So this channel is gonna be for men who want to see beyond the surface level stuff. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and for listening. If you'd like, subscribe and press notifications. More coming in the next couple days. Peace.